Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk. Back into the video day. And today, the Cleveland Cavaliers are hiring Golden State Warriors assistant coach and former Brooklyn Nets head coach, Kenny Atkinson. And I absolutely love this move right here. I love it. I never thought Kenny Atkinson should be fired from the Brooklyn Nets. Honestly, it was a poor decision because, they fired him after, the Brooklyn Nets team without Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant. If I'm not mistaken, I also don't think they had DeAndre Jordan in that bubble. There were a lot of players that were missing from the bubble that opted out or were injured. Durant was injured. Kyrie opted out. There were a couple other players on that Nets team that I believe opted out of the bubble. It was 8 games where the Brooklyn Nets, I think, went like 2-6 in the bubble. And look, if you in the shortened season with the Brooklyn Nets, Kenny Atkinson, in 62 games, they went 28-34. So obviously isn't a great record, right? But if you look outside of the record, if you look outside of the bubble, which I believe they did go 2-6 in the bubble. I'm not 100% sure on that. If you erase the bubble, I believe going in, when the NBA got canceled that season due to the pandemic, I believe the Brooklyn Nets were 26-26. I think they had a 500 record, exactly 500, if I'm not mistaken. And or maybe it was like 26-24, something like that. I'm not. No, I think it was exactly. Or no, it might have been 26-28. It was like 26 and something. And they were either 2 games under 500 or 2 games over. But I believe it was 2 games under. And they weren't doing that bad. For a team that didn't have didn't have Kevin Durant. Kyrie wasn't always healthy in that just looking at that 2019-20 season. The record wasn't terrible for a Brooklyn Nets team that didn't have Durant or Kyrie for, a good chunk of games. So I think he should have been given a chance with this, with this Brooklyn Nets team. I really believe so. He should have been given a chance with this Brooklyn Nets team as a head coach with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. He never got that shot. He got fired after the bubble. They bring in Steve Nash, and I like Steve Nash. I think he might get another coaching shot at some point in the next couple years, and he's a great player. He's one of the best point guards. He's probably a top 10 point guard of all time. Great player. But he was a disaster. He was terrible in Brooklyn as a head coach. I think Kenny Atkinson would have been better for Brooklyn with Kyrie and Durant and James Harden even. Who knows if James Harden still comes to the Brooklyn Nets if Kenny Atkinson is the coach. But I think things would have been a lot different with Brooklyn having him as their head coach compared to Steve Nash. Just my opinion. Like I said, never should have been fired from Brooklyn. The record there wasn't great, 118 and 190. But his second last season, they went to the playoffs, 42-40. That was a better season, and then right before he got fired, he finally was about to have a good team with the Brooklyn Nets. He was finally about to have a team that had Kyrie and KD the next season, who were both guys who were going to be healthy, and obviously who knows if that would happen, but potentially James Harden. Who knows if maybe Kenny Atkinson as a head coach would say, I don't want James Harden on this team. Potentially compared to Steve Nash, going all in for James Harden. But Kenny Atkinson has done a great job in the last 3 years being assistant coach for the Golden State Warriors. I think he's going to do a great job coaching this Cleveland Cavaliers team. A couple Brooklyn Nets. This is one reason I love this addition. A couple Brooklyn Nets players that he coached in Brooklyn are on this Cavaliers team. Karis LeVert and Jared Allen, who were big-time players for that Brooklyn Nets team in 2018-19 season when they were, I believe, the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference and a playoff team. Karis LeVert and Jared Allen were I don't think Jared Allen was a starter, but he was. I believe both guys came off the bench, but played a big role for that Brooklyn Nets team, and he was their coach for many seasons, three or four seasons. So definitely love the Kenny Atkinson addition. I think he's a good head coach. He's probably the last couple of years has done probably made some improvements as a head coach, and I'm interested to see him potentially talking about that. I watched JJ Redick's head coach introduction today, and I saw, I saw, what he was talking about, and I'd love to see when the Cavaliers do their introduction for Kenny Atkinson, if he talks about, the improvements he's made as a coach over the last couple years, working with a guy like Steve Kerr. Look, I know he was already a solid head coach, but when you learn from a guy like Steve Kerr, who has been through it all, he has won NBA championships look at one of the best teams of all time, with the Chicago Bulls, with Michael Jordan, playing with Michael Jordan. As a head coach, he has done a terrific job as a head coach, winning 4 championships, right? Coaching one of the best players in the NBA, a top 10 player in all-time history, the best shooter of all time. If you look at biggest impacts that a player that has had on the game, that is Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry you can look at players like I look at Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and the way they changed the game back in the 90s. You look at Michael Jordan and the way he changed the game. Even you can look at LeBron James and he's changed the game. But Stephen Curry, I believe, has made one of the hugest impacts in how the game is played now due to the three-point shot. Obviously, the three-point shot was shot a lot. Obviously, it's not like before Stephen Curry, nobody shot threes. But nobody shot threes as much as they do now before Stephen Curry, became a thing. And Stephen Curry has played a huge impact in the NBA. Steve Kerr has had a front row seat and has been his coach through all this, and has coached a dynasty with Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson and Steph Curry and Draymond. And you can learn a lot when you're working with a guy like Steve Kerr and you're on his staff. You're gonna learn. You're gonna learn more, and you're gonna learn how to be a better head coach. And I believe winning a championship is something he has done over the last 3 seasons with the Golden State Warriors. So I think Kenny Atkinson is going to be very improved, and also he has some familiar faces in this Cavaliers organization with Jared Allen and Karis LeVert. So I really like this addition for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and not to mention they choose Kenny Atkinson over James Borrego and Monty Williams. I love that choice. I love Monty Williams. He could have been a solid addition for the Cavaliers. That I don't think he would have gone any wrong there, but I honestly don't like James Borrego as a head coach, and I don't think that'd be a good fit at all. But I love the Kenny Atkinson hire. Monty Williams would have been a good option, but I think Kenny Atkinson is a great fit as well. Remember, thoughts, and peace out.